Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're going to take a look at the Open Ultra League again, as we're going to have now available this league for 2 weeks, as well as we're going to have now available for 1 week the Little Cup. And I'm not in the mood for the Little Cup, and I think most people are not in the mood for the Little Cup, as it's going to be the open one again, where you can use the bronze or the why not. So why not take a look at the Open Ultra League instead, and we can take a look at the meta real quick. We're going to have again a meta with Registeel. Registeel going to be the best Pokemon in this meta by far, in my opinion. It's very, very strong. Like, there's not a lot of Pokemon that this Pokemon really gets hard beaten by. Like, basically against anything that you have here, you're going to be able to do some decent damage against. So it's a very good Pokemon to have. Otherwise, Cresselia is still going to be one of the strongest Pokemon, as it also have access to Moonblast, which is very nice for Dark-type Pokemon. Pidgeot is still, since the Wing Attack buff, one of the best Pokemon for the Open Ultra League, as we have also some teams with this Pokemon as well. Cobalion, one of the best Saisops right now, if not the best Saisop. Giratina is still very decent. I don't really like to use it, to be fair, but like, it's a very strong Pokemon in general. Steelix is a little bit overrated, not really that great. In general, still has some potential if you get into the right matchup, so like, don't mind me there. Swampert, most likely one of the best Pokemon still in this meta, being able to beat something like the Registeel, which we saw before, which is very important for this one. Trevenant, very, very strong, as it's going to be able to beat both Swampert as well as Registeel, so very good there, as well as very good against Virizion, as well as Cobalion, so those Pokemon still going to be very good. Aurora is still going to be very decent here. Charizard, very decent. Gliscor, very decent. But yeah, Tapu Fini, still very good, just now with the Surf buff in the meta. Double, one of the strongest Pokemon in the meta, but sadly not really accessible for most people, so let's go right into the teams. First team here, going to be one of the most common teams and also one of the best teams in general for the last 3 seasons, I think already. Since Wing Attack got buffed, this team has been amazing, especially also with Double Kick being added to those Trio of Justice. We're going to have here the Saisops of Cobalion, going to have access to the move Stone Edge, going to be very good to bait out potential Fire-type Pokemon, while still striking back with a double super effective move, for example, against a Charizard. We're going to have the lead of the Pidgeot, way too strong right now. Like, this Pokemon is so strong in this meta, being able to debuff the opponent easily, or with like 2-stage debuff with the Feather Dance, as well as having a nuke move with the Brave Bird is so important for the lead. So if you win the lead, for example, the opponent swaps out, you can debuff them for 2 stages. If you want to go just straight for Brave Bird and dip, you can do this as well. It's just such a strong team here, and the Virizion in the back helps this team out quite a bit. Second team here, going to be one of the teams that got summoned to Legend this season already, which was the Warren in the lead, the Cresselia as a Saisops, and the Trevenant in the back. This team might be a little bit weak against something like an Obstagoon or a Scrafty, but if you bait it out anyway with the Cresselia, you still have the Moonblast to hit them back, while also you're going to still do some damage with the Warren as well as the Trevenant. The core itself is just, in general, a very strong core, but of course have to be a little bit careful about potentially the Scrafty or the Obstagoon. Both of them will be very bad for this team, but against anything else, basically this team is amazing, especially as like the Saisops of Cresselia are very safe against a lot of Pokemon. You have a lot of potential to still hit back, and the core of Trevenant plus Warren, even though like the Warren got nerfed, it's just still so strong in the Open Ultra League. Let's go into the next one. Next team can be a pay-to-win team. You're going to have the Deoxys defense in the lead here. It's a very strong Pokemon in the current meta, being able to have a Rock Slide to cover for something like a Charizard, having counter for something like a Warren, any Steel type, any normal type, as well as Psycho Boost as just a hard-hitting move to dip out after the debuff is just so important in this current meta. You're going to have this Saisops here. I would actually go for the Warren instead of the Snorlax, but Snorlax works out pretty well as well. You're going to be able, of course, to counter Ghost types as the Snorlax there. Warren in general is just a very neutral Pokemon. Having access to the move Earthquake, going to be able to give you a lot of coverage in the current meta. In the back, you can either have the Galarian Stunfisk or the Registeel. Registeel will give you a little bit of a better coverage against something like a Tapu Fini, but the Galarian Stunfisk is going to give you a little bit of a better coverage against something like a Charizard. So, really depends on what you want to see or what you have. Both of them are fine, either of them going to be okay, but of course, feel like Registeel is the better choice just because of the Tapu Fini. You don't have XL Pokemon, then this team might be the one for you, as they're going to have here the lead of Machamp, still going to be a very good Pokemon, especially in the Shadow variant. Same goes for the Snorlax Saisops here for this team, as we're going to have now the Alolan Muk in the back. You can use actually Shadow Pokemon for all of 3 of them. You can also still use the normal variants, it still should work out pretty well. Very standard team, been around since I think like 7 seasons or something. It's like kind of wild. But it's a very strong team here right now, especially with a lone rock in the back. You're going to have a great answer for Tapu Fini, which is a very common Pokemon in the current meta. Snorlax, very neutral. Machamp has a lot of potential, especially with Oroxite in the current meta, as you would even be able to beat a lot of the flying type Pokemon. So, very strong team. I think it's a very good one. Still used it recently as well, and it's a very, very decent one. So definitely something I can recommend. Let's go to the next one. Next team going to be a team around the Jellicent with the move Surf as well as Gliscor. Shadow Gliscor especially would be very, very good in the current meta here right now. The normal one is also very fine, so like it doesn't really matter too much for this Pokemon. Extra bulk is cool, extra damage is cool. Both of them are totally fine, but it's a very strong Pokemon in the current meta, as you're going to be able to beat all those fighting type Pokemon like Cobalion, like Rosian, all those Pokemon you should be able to beat with this Pokemon as well, as you're going to be able to beat steel types, to steal beat types as well, of course. That definitely does make a lot of sense. But it's in general a very strong Pokemon right now. Double weakness against Ice-type Pokemon, so we're going to have two Pokemon in the back that are going to be fine with that. You either have the normal type boys here again as Snorlax, or you can also use the Dubwool. Both have coverage for fighting type, with the fast move from Dubwool being a fighting type fast move, as well as the super power from Snorlax being very, very decent right now. And in the back we're going to have the Jellicent, which will be able to resist the ice type moves, so it's going to be a very good counter, for example, against Walrein. So yeah, that's going to be it for this team. Let's go into the next one. The next team going to be one that got someone to rank 1 in the world last season. You have to be a little bit careful though, because now Jellicent going to be a little bit more common in the meta, so this might be a little bit tricky for this team to deal with. Still, you have coverage on basically all the Pokemon, and Jellicent itself will not be able to go through the entire team. You still have Moonblast on the Tapu Fini, you still have Earthquake on the Elite there. It's a very actually neutral matchup for the Walrein as well as you're going to have still some coverage with the Charizard as well. Wing Attack Charizard right now is just such a strong Pokemon. If you get this like set up and get some extra energy or some shield advantage for this Pokemon, it basically goes through everything. It's wild how strong this Pokemon is right now. But yeah, this got someone to rank 1 in the world, so maybe it gives you some elo as well, who knows. Same goes for the next team. This team was also something that got someone to rank 1 in the world. We're going to have the Kofagrigus in the lead here. This team going to be way better off against Jellicent as well, so it's going to be definitely a little bit more better there for the current meta. But yeah, Kofagrigus in the lead. Sesop I think was the Tapu Fini here, but you can also use, I guess, something like the Drapion or the Skuntank. And we could also have something like the Giratina in the lead, but yeah, their team was directly the Kofagrigus, the Tapu Fini, as well as the Shadow variant of the Skuntank there. So definitely an interesting team as well. Got someone to rank 1 in the world, so maybe it helps you out as well. Let's go into the next one. Want another no XL team? This might be it for you then, because this team definitely doesn't need them. You can still give them, of course, to the Trevenant. Trevenant can be XL. I think Walrein theoretically could also be an XL version, but like you don't really need it, to be fair. We're going to have here the core again of the Trevenant as well as the Walrein. You're going to have the Swampert in the back. It's just a very standard meta line. It's nothing too crazy, it's nothing too fancy. Not a lot that I can really say about this one either. Sesop going to be the Walrein, going to be very decent against steel types as well. It's going to be, in general, a very decent one against steel types in general, because you have very decent answers for those Pokemon here. But yeah, this is going to be just a standard line, which is going to be just better Pokemon. So yeah, we're going to take a look at the next one real fast now. Final team here going to be Como in the lead, one of the most underrated Dragon type Pokemon in this current meta. Having access to Cross Combat allows you to destroy a lot of ice or like steel type Pokemon, which is going to be very nice. Sesop going to be the Focus Blast variant of the Ampharos, hopefully also the Shadow variant, because it's a little bit better against the Trevenant. And then we're going to have in the back here the Galarian Stunfisk, or the what's called the Registeel there. Registeel is definitely way better here for this team, because if you don't align your Pokemon correctly there, you have, for example, a Tapu Fini in the lead. You only have really one answer for this, which is not really ideal, but Registeel would be a very decent answer for Tapu Fini, otherwise it's going to be a little bit tricky. But yeah, this team is a very cool one. Definitely going to do some content for this one as well. If you want to see some footage for this team, definitely leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you enjoyed this video, helped you out maybe a little bit for the Open Ultra League, as the Little Cup is not really the best league that you can play in right now. So yeah, I hope this video helped you. If it did, please leave a like on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!